Notre Dame, Paris. The Notre Dame de Paris, also called Notre Dame Cathedral, is said to be the greatest example of French Gothic architecture. The said cathedral is located on the Ile de la Cité. Ile de la Cité is an island in the River Seine. Maurice de Sully, the one who initiated the Notre Dame Cathedral and was built over 2 centuries. The cathedral is composed of a choir and apse, a transept, and a nave flanked by double aisle and square chapels. The cathedral is approximately 420 feet tall and 39 feet wide in the nave. The cathedral transept and tower were adopted from the Romanesque architecture, yet its pointed arches and drooped vaulting were from the Gothic architecture style. The Notre Dame was one of the first Gothic cathedrals that is incorporated by arch exterior supports known as the flying buttresses. The 2 huge early Gothic towers are approximately 223 feet tall and are divided into 3 stories and have openings that are embellished with fine early Gothic carvings. Notre Dame is known for its external statues and gargoyles that are arranged around the outside of the cathedral that provide extra column supports and drainage pipe. The Notre Dame Cathedral is famous for the naturalism of its Gothic art sculptures along with its grand stained glass art. The stained glass windows allow more light to enter and provide additional biblical art for the cathedral. The facade of Notre Dame Cathedral is decorated with a pile of stone sculpture, especially around the central portal that is surrounded by the statues that portray the Last Judgment. The design of the facade balances the verticality of the twin towers with the horizontal banding of the decorated galleries. At the end of the cathedral is where the apse can be found with its clerestory windows that are supported by single arch flying buttresses of the more daring and regnant Gothic style that is known for its boldness and grace. The gargoyles gives a splendor to the architectural style of the cathedral. The torrents are divided for the water that is pouring from the roof and is projected outwards as far as possible from the buttresses and the walls and windows where it might erode the mortar binding the stone. Westminster Abbey, a London church site of coronations and ceremonies of national significance. Westminster Abbey architectural journey has been uncanny yet remarkable in all aspects. The cathedral has undergone layers of construction before becoming the wonder that it is today. Westminster Abbey architecture is a unification of Gothic style with traces of early medieval period style. Sabert, the first Christian king of the East Saxons, founded a church on a small island in the River Thames, then known as Thorney, but later called the Westminster. Henry III pulled down the whole Edward's Church in the year 1245 and then replaced it with present Abbey Church in the pointed Gothic style of the period. The design and plan of Westminster Abbey Cathedral are firmly influenced by contemporary French cathedral architecture. In the late 1300s, the Norman-style nave was rebuilt under the construction of architecture Henry Yevele and continued up until the Tudor time. The architectural design of the cathedral embraces the transept at a right angle with which the nave is formed. The cathedral gains attention due to the chapel, a space where the private celebration, funerals, or worship are held. A marvelous fan-vaulted roof with its carved pendant enhance the grandeur of this space.
Hello, I'll be the second presenter for the Gothic architecture in Group 3, Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. I'll be discussing about the Ulm Cathedral and why its style is Gothic architecture. The Ulm Cathedral is one of the most greatest Gothic architecture cathedrals. It is also known to be the world's tallest church spire, about 161.53 meters, 530 feet, with slopes and honey-colored stones and pinnacles. In 768 steps, the top spires want to visit for it has amazing panoramas across Swabia and Bavaria. In 1377, the Ulm Cathedral was made having 10,000 people, dedicating their hard work to build this massive structure that can fit over 20,000 people. In 1543, construction was dodgy because of the lack of funds that support the construction. The one providing the funds is whoever is inhabiting the structure. In 1844, the construction continued, with its problems in the engineering field resolved, stacking its last stone in 1890. This took the building 513 years before completion. Now, let's discuss the characteristic of Ulm Cathedral that make it a Gothic architecture. One of the characteristics that makes Ulm Cathedral a Gothic architecture is the use of pointy arches that we can see at the exterior portal. Next is the flying buttresses. in the exterior as a support, also having ornate decoration such as gargoyles. While in the interior, we can see the nave. There we can see rib vaults up the ceiling and the use of stained glass to let natural light in and tell biblical stories. That's all for the Cathedral. Coming up next is Emralino Jeremiah discussing about Group 4 and 5. That's really all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, or good morning, depending on the time you're listening to this. You are near the end because I am the last presenter for this group. And I'll be talking about or discussing about religious structure in Spain and Italy. The structure that I chose for the beautiful country, Spain, is Burgos Cathedral. But before proceeding to its characteristics, I'll give a little background about Burgos Cathedral. Burgos Cathedral is exactly located in the Plaza de Santa Maria, Burgos, España. The Burgos Cathedral is said to be built in the year 1221 of July 20. Burgos Cathedral is regarded as the most beautiful and poetic of all Spanish cathedrals. Now we are proceeding to its characteristic. In Gothic architecture or medieval architecture, its characteristics vary on the place. They have one specific characteristic that they are all in common, which is it has a pointed arcs. In Spain, its specific characteristic is the use of shoe-like arcs, which can be seen mostly in its interior. Unfortunately, pictures on the internet are very limited, especially for its interior. Proceeding, it is known for the surface decoration of intricate geometrical and flowing patterns that can be seen in the exterior of the religious structure. Now, we are done with the first structure, and now we are going to the place of Italy where I chose the structure Milan Cathedral. It is exactly located in Piazza del Duomo 20112, Milano, Italia. The construction of the Duomo of Milan began in 1386 and ended in 1965. It took place in the same location where the St. Ambrose Basilica was located since the 5th century, to which in the year 836, the Basilica of St. Thecla was added and destroyed by a fire in 1075. Milan Cathedral is the largest medieval cathedral in Italy and the largest cathedral in Europe. Now, going to its specific characteristics. In Gothic architecture, Italy is known for its structure's verticality. That is why the Milan Cathedral are standing 45 meters or 148 feet below the ground. Next, unlike the different structure in this Gothic era, flying buttresses were not used and cannot be seen in their structure. Also, they use small windows, unlike the others, without tracery. And because of that, this shows that its characteristics really depend on the place. Each place has its own and unique characteristics. Thank you for listening.